morning, everybody. In the kitchen again. We have a problem this winter that we don't usually have and that a lot of people don't really experience during the winter. Take a look at this. We have an excess of chicken eggs and duck eggs for that matter, because that's what those are. Most people don't have that problem because most chickens slow down their laying a lot during the winter, because there's less daylight and the temperatures are colder, etc., etc. Our chickens, on the other hand, most of what we have are newer chickens that we purchased last spring. And so they really just started laying, I don't know when exactly, maybe late this summer. And they're still laying. Needless to say, they're laying now. They're all in chicken tractors. None are free ranging. They're either in chicken tractors or the electric netting. And we have plenty of eggs. So one of the ways that I like to use eggs is to make a recipe called German pancakes, because it uses up a lot of eggs. Some of my kids love it, others aren't as fond, but we're gonna have it anyway. Now, of course, not all eggs come out perfectly clean. As you can see, that one there is a little dirty. So I'm gonna give some of them a quick rinse before I use them. Many people might ask about the faucet behind me, because it's not a standard faucet, but that's all it is. It's a faucet. I took an old pump and had it made more into a faucet. We don't use this part at all and pump anything out. It's more just there for looks. But, you know, we turn the water on regular right back there and the water just comes out here. That's all it is. It's more for decoration and fun than anything else. Like, I haven't heard any wind. Where's all that?
Oh yeah. I looked at my watch. It was at least.
Okay, German pancakes. For my family, we make two, what are those, like 12-inch skillets worth. And maybe they're 10-inch skillets. I don't know. But they're big skillets. And that uses 18 eggs. I should say though, while it uses 18 eggs, I do 9 at a time in the blender. Then we use 1.5 cups of milk. So I guess this recipe I'm giving you is really only for 1 pan's worth. 1.5 cups of flour. And 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just using a pink Himalayan salt that I ordered from Azure Standard, which I'll have to tell you about later. Then we're going to stick it on the blender. I usually heat my pans up in the oven with some bacon grease or some butter before I pour the mixture in there, because that helps to keep them nice and hot and helps it not to stick so much. After blending though, you just pour into the pan. I'm going to make the second batch real quick and then we'll get it in the oven.
Mom, another one. The Green Bay Packers versus Minnesota Giants game. Green Bay crushed the Giants.
Okay.
Like that.
We're going to set a timer for 20 minutes. Now we're going to get the kids to set the table and do some dishes, and then we'll be ready to eat. Don't get it too close because it'll... You know what? Let's let it go a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Let's see how it looks. That looks much better.
What is it?
German pancakes.
Whoa! Mom, look at that bit. Mom, can I pop it?
One of the nice things about stainless steel is I really can just put the pans on the counter and not worry about damaging it.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, you can see the steam.
That's Anna Claire's. This is Damien's. Do you want to take two?
The jar's greasy or sticky or something. Oh my gosh, I'm not expecting.
Wow, is today a big difference. It has been highs in the 70s for way over a week with lows in maybe the 60s. Today our highs are in the upper 40s, and I don't know what it is right now, but I think it's in the 40s, but it's pretty chilly and it's windy. So, whew, it's chilly out here. Anyway, the rain has stopped for a little bit, and I'm venturing out because I want to see how much rain we've gotten into our rain gauge. Whoa, hey Patch. Get right under me. Okay, so there we are. It's right about 3 inches. Oh. Let's dump this out. And now it'll be ready for the next time. Well, I showed you guys like 2 days ago what my kale looked like. And here's what it looks like today. Look at, there's a lot that's missing. Somebody said one of the dogs slept in here last night, so we're gonna have to do something about that. And it looks like they did the same thing over here. Not good. Dogs are supposed to be helpful on a homestead, and I get more aggravated than anything at ours. Ugh, they do so much destruction too. So as you guys saw this morning, I used my cast iron to cook with, and you can see it came out, I mean, everything came out relatively cleanly, but there's still a couple little crumbs there. So I'm just going to use a brush real quick to just rinse this out in the sink, just rub it down, and then watch what I do to finish it off. So all I did was kind of scrub it clean. It's really important though not to leave it all wet. So I take the wet skillet, stick it on the stove, wait for that very slow burner to light, and put it on low, and wait for the water to evaporate. Okay, now that all the water has evaporated, this one still has a little bit of drops back there, but it's not too big of a deal. I'm just going to take a spoonful of lard, and actually I should not say a spoonful, it's just a little bit. That's probably way too much. That's enough for both of these. There, that's plenty. Just a little bit of lard. I'm going to get a little more here. I'll hold it. Just enough to coat the bottom of the pan with a very thin layer. And then I use, you can use a paper towel, but I just use cut up old t-shirts, and I just lightly rub it in and get it all coated with that lard. You can use bacon grease or other kinds of oil too. Just lard and bacon grease around here are free for us, so that's what I usually use.
Whoa, you make a whole bunch of bacon and sausage.
Yes, we make a lot of bacon and sausage.
And
Okay, and I do not leave those on for very long because it'll get dry again. So I go ahead and turn the burners off. and then just let them
Cool down.
sit there and cool down for a little bit. And that's all there is to it. It's very simple, and it keeps my pans ready for use immediately the next time I need to use them. We use cast iron a lot in our cooking, and I didn't used to do such a good job with it. I have to admit, if I am trying to use cast iron in cooking scrambled eggs, it's a fine art in getting those scrambled eggs not to stick. Sometimes I'm successful at it and sometimes I'm not. But it can always be cleaned again, sometimes with a lot more effort, and rubbed back down with some grease, and you just are reseasoning it over and over and over again. But as long as I, quote, reseason it basically each time after I've used it, they stay in good shape. Now, I spoke earlier today about the many eggs that we have right now. So when we have a surplus of eggs that we obviously, even with a big family, cannot eat all of, we do something special with them.
So we put the really dirty eggs into,
Or the older eggs, if
or
we,
the older eggs
yeah.
into here, into this pot to boil them, to give them to the pigs. But with the really clean ones, we save them, and we probably will start giving away some of them. But yeah.
I read years ago that pigs take more protein from cooked eggs than they do from uncooked eggs. I wish I could remember where I came across that tidbit of information. But so we just keep a pot sitting around, an old just pot that we don't care about, sitting around all the time, and any dirty eggs that come inside from having been gathered, or older eggs that have been in the fridge for a little while and we're just not going to get to, those go to feed the pigs. It's yet another way that we are growing some of our own
Sausage and bacon.
yeah, sausage and bacon. It's some of the food for our pigs that we're producing right here on our homestead. There are other ways that we do that, and yes, we also do bring in outside feed. I wish I could say that we produced all of the feed for all of our animals, but we don't by any stretch of the imagination. But that's one way we supplement their feed.
He's probably going to be there, but who knows?
Another one of those things I have to get done today is take these 3 gallons of old milk that I have, because we get milk from our dairy every 2 weeks. And so I take any leftovers and make that into butter and into yogurt. So, gotta get that done today. I know you probably can't see this spray very well because if I lift it up higher, it's going to go all over the place. And now I'm going to pour all the cream over here in my blender. And we'll leave that sitting upside down to drain any last little bits of cream out. Okay, this is really simple. One of these in each of these Instant Pots. Lid on. Gotta find the other lid over here, and I'm gonna hit the yogurt button until it says boil and let it start heating up. Just gonna use this lid. It doesn't really matter whether you use the glass lid or the pressure lid. You're not gonna use pressure at all in this, so it doesn't matter so much. Okay. Those are going, and they'll really time it. I'll try to time it right now and see how long it takes them to actually get to a boil. All right, meanwhile, we're gonna go ahead and get the butter going. So my blender has a little problem in that the handle doesn't like to stay down here, so I have to hold it down. That's the only reason I'll be standing here holding onto my blender this whole time. I run it on high, and it usually makes it within a couple of minutes. Okay, so that took about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Probably not even that. I always run it a little long. Hey. That's real smart.
Oh, what'd you do?
I just spilled it. Hopefully y'all can.
You need a rag?
Hopefully y'all can kind of see that there, and I'll clean up that mess. So today I'm going to give the buttermilk to the pigs. So we've already got this big pile of stuff going out to the pigs. I'm just going to drain all the milk in there. All right, there's my butter, and I'm just going to wash it now. All right, I'm going to add some water to this. And just use my strainer and drain off all the water. Okay, now that it's all washed, I'm just going to put it all into this bowl. And then I go ahead and wash it once or twice by hand.
I'm guilty, small on.
Not guilty. Okay, that's definitely, I don't know if you can tell, but it is definitely still a little cloudy, so I'm going to keep washing. Alright, we're going to give this a little salt. Mix that in. That also helps to pull out some of the remaining water. Okay, one of those yogurts just beeped that it was hot enough on the boil setting, and that took 49 minutes. All right, so out of those 3 gallons of milk, the cream from the top, I got 4 sticks of butter, and we'll use that during the week. Okay, in order to cool the milk down to a temperature where the yogurt can, or where the milk can incubate with the yogurt starter, I have to get it down to about 110. And I find the easiest way to do that is to just stick it in a sink of cold water.
Don't use my hand.
I'm just going to give it a good stir, put this thermometer in there to keep an eye on the temperature, and when it's done, we stick it back in the Instapot. So the temperature right now is about 152. I'm sure it's already come down some, and we're just going to let it cool down to 110. I may or may not drain the water out and add cold water, more cold water, because sometimes that can really help speed up the cooling down process. But we'll just wait and see. All right, that's down to 110. So a little bit of this plain yogurt in here. Some good spoonfuls. Give it a good stir. back in the Instant Pot mix.
I've never had rice crumbles quickly. Normally it takes like 45 minutes, right?
We're gonna set the timer for 8 hours. And, well, I should say push the yogurt button until it gets to 8 and let it sit there. Okay, quick update on Nicholas's splinter that he had. His bandage fell off multiple times, and the salve didn't really stay where it was supposed to. It's kind of at the tip of his finger, so that's what his finger looks like. And we're pretty sure the splinter is still in there. He's not interested in really putting more on, so he's just.
I mean, if I don't have a choice, I'll put it back on.
You have a choice, Nicholas. It's your finger. What do you want to do?
My point is, it might be too small for me to get it out easily.
Okay, so, but do you want to try to get it out, or would you like me to put the bandage?
I'm gonna see if it's come out yet or not before I decide.
Okay, so you're gonna go work on it.
More or less, yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.